So now we're going to go through actually installing the Google Analytics module. So I'm just going to do a search for Drupal Google Analytics. And this should get us to the Google Analytics module for Drupal. And just like installing any other module, we're going to go through that process of going down. We can look at it, read about it, but then we're eventually going to copy this link, come back to our site, go to our modules page, and click install. We will paste this in and click the install button, and that will go ahead and download that module to our site. We now have to enable it, so we're going to just search for Google here and click the checkbox to enable the Google Analytics module. We're going to find it again, and we're going to click configure. And the setup of this module is actually really easy. So first you want to enter in this web property ID, and you're going to get that from when you set up your Google Analytics account. So if we come back into the admin section of our Google Analytics account, we are going to look for the one that says tracking info and click tracking code. And here it's giving us the tracking ID, so we're going to copy that in. And we're just going to paste that here. You're going to see the UA is already there, so we don't want to duplicate that. And here is our web property ID. The rest of it can all be pretty much left as default. You can select what you are tracking. You can select which pages you want to track. By default, it's going to not track any of the admin pages. It's going to then allow you to really set up some of the different privacy options. And you can go through all of these settings, but know that for the most part, the defaults are everything that you need. So we're going to click Save. And now the configuration options have been saved, and really that's it. The important thing is going to be to then go back to your Google Analytics account, let it sit for a few hours and click around on your site, and then you're going to go and make sure that some of the data is starting to show up. There's also another module called the Commerce Google Analytics module, which is another one that you're going to want to install. And this just allows your Google Analytics to send some additional information. So we're going to install this one. I'm not going to go through too much on how to configure it, but it is something that there are instructions for, and it's pretty self-explanatory and basic, but it is one that's going to allow your Drupal commerce site to configure or to pass more information to Google Analytics. So if you want your Google Analytics to be able to keep track of your orders and your revenues and your conversions, this module is going to help with that. So we just simply enable this module, save it, and that's all you really need to do. There shouldn't be any additional setup that's needed for that module, except for possibly on the Google Analytics side. But as you start to play around with Google Analytics and you read more about this Commerce Google Analytics module, you will find out kind of some of the capabilities that the analytics tools have to offer. So go ahead and check those out, play around with them, and as you build your site out and as you get more traffic and more purchases, you can spend even more time on figuring out how you want to configure your analytics.